This video will show you how to solve multi-step equations using all 4 steps. If you remember, step 1 is to check for the distributive property. Do you see any parentheses? If so, distribute. Step 2 is to check on both sides to see if you can combine any like terms. Step 3 is to move stuff across that equal sign by adding or subtracting. And step 4 is to divide by whatever is in front of your variable. So let's draw our line, and we're going to solve -3 times the sum of 8k plus 5 is equal to 3 times the difference of 9 minus k. Notice we have parentheses, and step 1 says we need to distribute. So we are going to draw our boxes and fill in the pieces. -3 is touching the parentheses, so he touches the side of the box. My 8k is on top of the first box, +5 is on top of the second box. -3 times 8 is a -24, and we keep the k. -3 times a +5 is a -15. I pull out what is inside the box and bring it down, -24k minus 15. Now I need to go back and check. I use the -3 right here. I use the 8k right here, and I use the 5 right here. There isn't anything on this side that I haven't used, so I can move on. On the right-hand side, I see more parentheses, so I need to distribute again. 3 is touching the parentheses, so he touches the box. Bring my 9 down, and I'm going to put my 1 here so I can see my -1k. 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times a -1 is a -3, and we bring down the k. Take out what's inside the boxes and write it here, and we check. I have my 3, my 9, and my -1k. There is not anything here that I have not used, so I can now solve the equation. I can choose what to move first, so I'm going to add a 3k to both sides. -24 plus 3 is a -21k. I haven't used the -15, so I'll bring that down. I haven't used the 27, so he can come down, and there is my 0. I'm going to move the -15 because it looks like the 27. So let's add a 15 to both sides. There's my 0, and I end up with a -21k on the left and a 42 on the right. I'm done moving things. Notice there's one term on either side. So my last step is to divide by whatever's in front of my variable. -21. That becomes a 1, leaving me with the k. 42 divided by a -21 is a -2. And as always, we check our answers. So I have a -3 times 8 times my k value, which I think is a -2, plus 5, is equal to 3 times 9 minus my k value, which again I think is a -2. When I do what's in the parentheses, 8 times a -2 plus 5, I get -11. Bring down my -3. My 3 is out here. 9 minus a -2 is a +11. -3 times a -11 is a +33. And 3 times 11 is also a +33. It balances, and we got that correct. Let's try one more. Okay, this is as complicated as we're going to see. Let's draw our line. First step is to distribute. So I'll put my boxes in here. My 3 is touching the parentheses, so it touches the box. 1 minus 9a. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times a -9a is a -27a, and I take that out. So 3 minus 27a. Notice I used the 3, the 1, and the -9a, but I have not used the 22a. So I bring it down and put it right here. Other side, again, I have parentheses. 2 is touching the parentheses, so it touches the side of the box. 2a minus 9. 2 times 2, that's a 4a. 2 times a negative 9 is a negative 18, and we take that out. 4a minus 18. And we check. Notice the 2 is used, the 2a is used, the negative 9 is used, but I have not used this negative 15. We bring it down. Next step is to combine like terms. Well, my negative 27a and my positive 22a are like terms. This 3 doesn't go with anyone, so I'm just going to bring him down. Negative 27 plus 22 is a negative 5a. On this side, the 4a doesn't go with anybody, so I'll bring it down. Negative 18 minus 15, those are like terms, and when I combine them, I get a negative 33. Okay, next step is to move stuff. So I'm going to subtract this 4a from both sides. Bring down my 3. Negative 5 minus 4 is a negative 9a. Don't let the negatives get you. There's my 0. Bring down my negative 33. I'm going to move the piece that looks like that. Notice the problems on this side. So I'll subtract a 3 from both sides. That becomes a 0. And I have a negative 9a is equal to a negative 36. Be careful with these negatives. I have one term on either side, so I'm going to divide both sides by negative 9. That cancels to a 1, leaving me with an a is equal to a negative divided by a negative is a positive. 36 divided by 9 is 4. And let's check our answer. I think a is a 4. So I'll recopy. I have 3 times 1 minus 9 times my a value, which I think is a 4, plus 22 times my a value is equal to 2 times my a value, which again I think is a 4, minus 9 minus 15. Let's see how this works. So when I put together 1 minus 9 times 4, I get a negative 35, plus 22 times 4 is 88. I have on this side 2 times 4 is 8 minus 9 is a negative 1 minus 15. We'll do the easy side first. 2 times a negative 1 is a negative 2 minus 15 is a negative 17. 3 times a negative 35 is a negative 105 plus 88. And when I add 88 to a negative 105, I do get a negative 17. My sides check, and we got it correct.